Welcome to the Dental Business Guide podcast. From money to marketing to management, this podcast will help you run a better dental business.
My name's Aaron, and tonight I'm going to be talking to you about 7 fatal mistakes when starting up a dental practice. And now, where do I start? I'm going to keep it relatively short and sweet, okay? I'm going to be here for about 20 minutes to 30 minutes. I haven't got many slides to share with you, but I'm really going to share my experience in working with many practices over the years, especially in startups. And I'd say that's my strength, that's my biggest interest, and I've been lucky enough to help many startups dental startups over the years, as well as start up our own dental practices as well. And I look at everything not from a clinical perspective. That's my business partner Smita's objective, and to make sure that runs to the right way, standards and way. But mine is the commercial side of things, the marketing, the money, the operations, that type of thing. How can we make sure that's working well as well? So I'm very lucky that I've worked in this industry for almost 20 years, and the startup side, I've been shouting about this for almost 20 years as well. We've been running our boot camps which I'll talk to you a little bit later, for almost 17 or 18 years as well. So there isn't much we don't know about dental business startups or dental practice startups, and it's great to see so many people on the webinar tonight. I appreciate it's a Wednesday evening, and I appreciate it's sometimes hard and tired after a week, but I think the market is changing, the world is changing, and I think people want to have, or dentists want to have their own dental practice as a result of the changes that are going on in the marketplace. I just literally got off the phone to a client at the moment who's working in NHS dentistry. She's qualified maybe 7 or 8 years, and she was saying that she's been working in NHS, and it's just the joy of dentistry is just gone, and she wants to start up her own private practice. And that's a conversation I keep having time and time again with more and more dentists dotted all around the country. People wanting to have their own practice, wanting to exit the NHS, albeit where there's some great stuff going on in the NHS. There's also a lot of unhappy dentists and people wanting to take control of their own future. So tonight I'm not going to go into details how to do squats. You've probably heard a webinar or two about that before, what I've given, and I'll be giving some future webinars on that. And there's tons on our YouTube page that you can watch and listen to. But tonight I'm going to talk about 7 fatal mistakes that I've seen people make. And let me share my screen with a few slides that I've put together. Hopefully you can see something. So, for those of you that are new to a webinar by myself, I do dozens upon dozens of webinars every year. And so, excuse me, I'm wearing my sports t-shirt. It's a Wednesday night, so and the lighting's not really that great in my office, I've realised at this time of night. But anyway, one of those things. So my name's Aaron. I own Samera Business Advisors. We started primarily as accountants. Now we do commercial finance. We have a very fast-growing, successful dental buying group. We have practice sales to our business. We do digital marketing and websites for dentists. So we have a whole string of services that we help dentists, really trying to help dentists with their problems in business. And that's kind of what we do. I also own the Neem Tree Dental Group, which is a private dental group here in London, which have all been started as squats. So I've personally experienced mistakes, and a lot of the things I'll be talking about tonight are mistakes that we've made, okay, but also some of the mistakes I see other people making as well. I am a trained chartered accountant with PwC. I worked in banking for many years, but then I married a dentist, Smita, who you may have seen or heard about or attended events, and she's kind of the business or the clinical side. I'm the kind of business side, and we've kind of put our two heads together, and hopefully we come out with something useful and helpful for people. So tonight's just me in our own type of personal capacity, where we've had to invest money, and we've invested a few million quid here or there in practices. We've done 5 Neem Trees, which are the ones that my wife owns: Wandsworth, Canary Wharf, Esher, Fleet Street, Notting Hill Gate. We sold Fleet Street, Notting Hill Gate, and Canary Wharf. We're in the throes of starting up some new squats at the moment, which if you watch our social media, and if you watch our webinars I'll be doing over the next few months, you'll start seeing what we're doing, how we're going to do it. So I'll probably give you some live, up-to-date information of how we're doing squats, and hopefully you'll see warts and all. In addition, we've helped many clients, over 90 across the UK. Some have been very successful, others have struggled, and others have realized it wasn't as easy as they thought it would be. So it's really important to highlight that. Now, I've just listed here a whole vast things you need to think about when you're starting up a dental practice. I've got 40 things in there, but there's probably another 40 or 50 you could probably add to it. But from legal issues to finance to recruiting the team, managing the team, leading the team, training the team, you name it, to reprimanding team members, you name it. There's always something going on in running a business. I love running businesses. Okay. That's my kind of game. The reason I love running businesses is because it's so much variety every day. Every day there's a different challenge. Every day, quite often there's a problem. Okay. Every day there's an opportunity, but every day is a problem as well. So you've got to take the problems with the opportunity. Now, if you love that variety, if you love the challenges, if you love the problem solving, running a business is definitely something you should consider. Will you make mistakes? 100%. Will you lose money? 1000%. But can you rectify those mistakes? Can you make good money? Can you make a lot of money? Absolutely as well. So there's opportunity out there. It's just a matter of you seizing it and hopefully not making too many fatal mistakes. So tonight I'm just going to go on talk about kind of a few mistakes that I've seen people make, mistakes that we've made as well. So at the moment, the demand for practices is still strong. People want practices, or dentists want, or associate dentists, younger dentists want to have their own practices. Now, as we know, NHS practices still command a hefty premium, mainly because of the contract of guaranteed money. But I think what I'm seeing, more and more dentists are steering away from those, okay, and deciding, you know what, I'm not going to buy those practices. It's too expensive. I'm going to do my own thing. Now, of course, there are corporates, mini corporates, evolving corporates that are buying practices. But it was interesting. I spoke to someone I know very well, and I won't mention his name, but someone who's probably in charge of one of the most successful large corporates here in the UK. And he said to me, practice values in the UK are just too expensive. We're not buying, we're buying very few. Okay, we're very selective in what we buy, primarily because the values are too high. Now, for corporates saying that, what does that mean for an individual who wants to buy a practice? Is the affordability factor there? Is it too expensive? Are you buying at the top of the market? So hence what we've seen in the last 12 months is an unprecedented demand from dentists wanting their own practice, wanting to start up their own practice. Changes in planning laws, which happened last year, have now given dentists the opportunity to find shop units or retail units or former restaurants or former libraries or former whatever and turn that into a dental practice. However, it's not that easy, okay? You might get the planning, but my concern, and this is really my concern, is there are a lot of practices out there who will start up. There are a lot of people who'll get the money, they'll buy the equipment, and they'll make the practice look absolutely stunning and beautiful, but they won't work. The practice won't work. They'll make a mistake, or they'll make several mistakes, which just tantamount to being a disaster, because the practice will just toddle along, but it'll never make significant money. And we can see that because we've seen in the past, prior to COVID, there were people who set up practices, and they're always the same ones. There's always a few practices sitting on the broker's books who just really haven't gone anywhere. They're just sitting there making a bit of money coming in, but aren't going to really provide a decent lifestyle earning. And why? Why aren't they? Primarily because they've made a mistake or a few mistakes. And I'm going to talk about a few of these mistakes shortly. So if you want to have your own practice, it's so important that you firstly save some money, okay? Have some money and have a very good financial clean track record. My colleagues, Dan and Nigel and the others, they're the ones who can assess and ascertain whether you can afford to set up a practice. But I'd certainly suggest you have a decent lump sum behind you. That would help a long way from lenders and banks, but also just to act as a reserve if in the event of a rainy day, you're okay. In addition, I think you need to increase your skills. And if you're building part of a team to improve theirs, but ultimately, and this is so important when you're starting up a business, surround yourself with people who will inspire, push, and help you achieve your dreams. There are lots of naysayers. There'll be colleagues, there'll be friends, there'll be family who say, oh no, don't do this, don't do that, it's too nervous, you can't do it because of COVID, or you can't do it because, you know what, I've got a job and I need to develop my career. It could be any excuse. Block those ears out. Okay. If you've got a dream and you want to have your own practice, you can have it, but you've got to work hard. You've got to surround yourself with the right people who will inspire, push, and help you achieve your dreams. Don't surround yourself with people who are just going to help you plod along. And we'll be delighted to help you along that path. So in essence, now is a great time to do a practice. Or start up a practice. Good old Rishi Sunak set the ball rolling, actually, I think in the last budget, where he said, if you're starting up a business or if you're doing a limited company, you can claim something called the super tax deduction or super deduction. And that's a huge investment, a huge incentive to start up a business now, because if you're buying dental equipment, which would qualify, you can get a deduction of 130%, not 100%, but 130% in that first year against your profits. So now, if it's in a limited company, so you have this window until April 2023 when it is a really good time to do it from a tax perspective alone. It's really good. Couple that with hopefully us kind of coming out of COVID. I know things have slowed down a little bit at the moment, okay, but hopefully things will improve. Couple that with the demand from patients wanting private dentistry and really getting fed up with having to wait for NHS and fallow times and all the kind of issues that come with that, and also compounded that with your kind of experience, knowledge, training, etc. that you may have developed. Now is actually a very good time to do it. And these windows of opportunity don't always last that long. So I would strongly suggest, if you're thinking about doing it, if you're going to do it now. Don't do it in 5 years. Do it relatively soon. So on to fatal mistakes. Fatal mistakes. Now, these aren't in any particular order, but I will start with this one. Now, choosing the wrong location. I cannot stress, if you're doing a startup, get this right. This is so, so important. So many people get the practice location wrong, mainly because they skimp on the money and think, oh no, it's a bit too expensive. I'm going to put it around the corner. I'm going to put it in a semi-detached house. I'm going to put it up some stairs somewhere. Do that, you're already setting yourself up, not necessarily for a fall, but it's going to make your life a hell of a lot harder. So I remember a practice I helped quite a few years ago. And this dentist in question opened up a practice in a London suburb, and affluent London suburb, and he found a location in the centre of the town, and he kitted it out. It looked beautiful, big but, he put it up some stairs, a flight of stairs. It wasn't on the ground floor, it wasn't a shop front, it was upstairs. And that was a big, big, big issue for him. He really struggled to get the patients through the door, and it took him a long, long time to get those patients coming through the door. So if I was doing a practice today, visibility is paramount. People need to be able to see you. They need to be able to find you. We'll keep the website of things separately, but from a physical presence, it needs to be seen. It needs to be by other shops, a supermarket, whatever. It needs to be visible. Okay, people need to see it. If they can see it, they'll come to you. So don't choose the wrong location. And when you're getting the space, the way to find your location. How are you going to do it? Go online, Google all these commercial agents, and then choose an area, walk around an area. Quite often shop units aren't even on Google, aren't even be advertised for sale or for let. So then walk around an area if you like that area and find some premises. So definitely don't choose the wrong location. Okay, that's a really, really important aspect. Number 2. Now, this is one of my colleagues, Dan and Nigel, are people that are perhaps more relevant to this one here. But the key thing is not having a thought through business and realistic business plan and knowing how much cash you need. Now, banks do like dentists. They see dentists as a respectable profession. Very few dentists fail, and therefore they will give you money. Well, 8 times out of 10, they'll lend you the money, okay, in some shape or form. But it's no point in being lent money if you don't have a clear business plan. It hasn't been researched. You haven't checked out what the competition is. You haven't checked out you haven't thought about how you're going to market it. You haven't thought through all the aspects of a business. Now, if you don't have a business plan, how are you going to know where you're going to get to in the future? So a business plan is there really as a document to communicate, not just to banks and lenders and other third parties, such as maybe a landlord, but also to yourself, saying this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to do it. And it's an opportunity for you to put ideas down on a piece of paper. They're not pie in the sky up there, but they're on a piece of paper. Now, personally, when I started out in business, 20 years ago, I had business plans on all typed up very nicely. Now, to be honest with you, I'm very much of a man with a notebook, okay? I scribble everything. I do lots of mind maps. I write things down. It might not be so organized and as pretty as a formal business plan, but I have a bloody good idea of what I'm doing and where I'm going to go to and how I'm going to do it on the qualitative side. Then on the financial side of things, you then need to know how much cash will you need to start this business up. So you need to put together financial forecasts. Now, you might think, well, I'm a dentist, Aaron, I don't have no idea. Well, then get some help, get some people like ourselves to help you to put the forecast together. People who know what a dental practice will cost, how much cash you can borrow, how long it will take to recoup to get the investment back, how long it will take to get income coming through. All of these things need to be done in advance, not afterwards, because then you can kind of use something called scenario analysis and really ascertain, well, in the worst case scenario, if I set up a practice, okay, and suddenly I'm closed down from COVID and I have no insurance policy to pay out, how much cash will I need to survive? Or how much do I need to survive and how much have I got? So all of these scenarios have to be put down in some type of financial forecast and financial plan. So if you don't have this business plan, if you don't have these financial forecasts, you're starting yourself, it's like having not a good location. You're really haven't thought through what you're trying to do and what you're trying to achieve. So really, really, really hone in on this. And my team of Dan, Nigel, myself, and others can certainly help you put these things together and make sure you've got a plan and a structure in place. So that's number 2. Number 3, right? This is super important. This is I recall this from my own mistakes that we made in our days. And when we started up our very first practice in Wandsworth, we were green. We were, how old were we? We were 29, 30 now. This is all gone, maybe about 30, 31 actually. So you're going back almost 20 years. Yeah, God, I'm old. Now we found an engineer, nice guy. He quoted, and we bought. Naively, we didn't realize what a big difference if we shopped around it would be. Okay, so really, 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 it's important to shop around for your equipment and consumables when you're starting up a practice. My experience of doing this and learning from this has really been one of the drivers to us starting up our buying group. So now my colleague Gurpreet now runs our dental buying group. So anyone starting up a practice, okay, or anyone starting up a practice or anyone who needs to buy consumables, firstly, they can join our kind of buying group for absolutely free, okay? No questions asked for a startup. But really what we're trying to do is get you the best deal on the equipment that you're buying. So whether you're having to buy a digital scanner, CBCT, dental chair, kind of all the stuff that you need for disinfection control, all these things we can provide it. We have a buying group, and our buying group is growing literally day by day at the moment, from dentists all shapes and sizes all across the country, because we can, with our power, we can negotiate terms with key suppliers, such as whether it's a chair, whether it's consumables, etc. And if you have quotes already from certain suppliers, send them to us. I'm 99.9% sure we will get you a better deal. Okay. Send them to us in all their details. I'll send you details later on our website, but make sure you shop around when buying consumables and equipment. Now, one client today, I was talking to Gurpreet earlier, he said he was buying 3 chairs. He got a quote from one company. Our quote with our partner, who happens to be DD, they were saving about £4,500 to £5,000 just by coming through us. Okay, so you might not think, well, what's the buying group going to do? I can guarantee it will save you money. And this is the whole reason why we've done it, because more people who are part of it, the power we have to get better terms for people. Okay, so shop around for your equipment and consumables. And basically, I'd strongly suggest you join our buying group. It's absolutely free. You just go online, you sign up, and then my colleague Preet will have a chat with you. You then start sourcing what you want to buy, and then we can get quotes to you. And then hopefully, I know we'll save you some money. Okay. Number 4. Well, okay, team. Now, after 20 years in business, this is the most important thing, I'd say. In many instances in any business, it's all about the people. Business is all about the people. Okay, having the right people, who you get on with, who you trust, who you can lead, who buy into your vision, who will work and get their hands dirty when they need to get dirty, and really just muck in if need be. So, getting the wrong team dynamic. Now, people are everything in business, and people are certainly everything in dental practices. So you need to make sure you get the right dentists or specialists in your team. You get the right front desk, you get the right nurses. Now, you won't find the perfect team first time. You probably won't find the second or third time. It's hard work finding the right people. And suddenly then some people might need to leave, they might need to go on maternity, they might be moving town. Then all that wonderful team you create, it suddenly gets shaken up again. And that's the nature of business, unfortunately. There's constant change. So getting the wrong team dynamic is certainly not, it's fatal. So you have to think, what are my roles and responsibilities, and who is going to be the right person for my team? Too often or not, people just hire people for the sake of hiring. They get the wrong person in, and before you know it, it's a costly exercise, and you're having to recover them from the mistakes that these other team members making. So team dynamic, team cohesion, and team morale and team spirit and team culture are so important. So that's number 4. If you get that wrong, if you get the wrong team dynamic, start again, wipe it slate clean, start again. Number 5, this kind of goes back to number 2 to some extent in terms of the business plan, but I know what dentists are like. I work with, we have hundreds of clients, okay? And I also know what dental companies are like. They want to sell as much as possible to dental practices. Now, even though we run a buying group, our job is to make sure our clients don't spend too much, okay? Buy what you need, not what you want, okay? Now, of course, there'll be certain things you want, but you've got to be able to justify the spend. So don't get carried away, and never make a purchase out of emotion. Always make a purchase with your head, okay? When it comes to business, okay? Business is all about making business decisions with your head, not with your emotion. You can leave your emotion to buying your new house or buying a fancy sports car, even though sometimes that's not right. But when it comes to business, don't get carried away and spend too much. Cash flow is so important, and do things in stages. If you're going to set up a clinic, if you've got the space for 3 surgeries, don't do 3 surgeries, maybe do 1. If you think it's going to go quickly, maybe do 2, okay? Don't buy the latest CEREC machine or whatever straight away. Get some cash coming in, prove the business model, get customers coming in, get customers paying for your treatment. If that's working, then right, I need to buy this CEREC machine, or I need to buy this CBCT scanner. Do it in a measured way. If you're going to do it all in one go, you're going to have a massive hole in your business, and you're going to have to work bloody hard, hopefully to recoup the money. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing to do. It's actually quite a good thing. So if you've got no alternative, you've burned the boats and you've just got to go for it. But sometimes you want a buffer. Sometimes life doesn't always work out as planned. Sometimes issues in life, whether it's children or family or whatever, get in the way, and you don't have the time or energy to commit to it. So always plan with a buffer in hand, with a buffer of cash, and be careful what you spend. It's too easy to spend in dentistry lots and lots of money. How long have I been going on for? 25 minutes. Okay. So I'm getting to wrap up. So then number 6, this is a real interesting one, marketing. Okay. This kind of links to team as well, because if you have you can have the best marketing in the world, but if you have the worst team or a rubbish receptionist, what's the point of the marketing? Patients aren't getting booked in, patients aren't being followed up on. It's a pointless exercise. So everything links together. So poor marketing execution is where I've seen fatal mistakes happen as well. So offline wise, the brand is wrong. It's it's just a bit too more. It's too much about the dentists rather than the patients. I think a brand has to reflect what the patients want, not what the dentist is. Okay, and then at the same time, getting your brand out there, getting the awareness out there, and people underestimating how much money you need to do marketing. Marketing is expensive. Okay, you need to invest in a website. You need to invest in people to do that website. You need to invest in digital marketing. You need to invest in updating the website. You need to update an SEO. You need to do so many things. Okay, and that takes time and that takes a lot of money. So you can build the most wonderful looking clinic. You might have the most beautiful chair, most beautiful window, but if no one knows you're there, and if it's in a poor location, no one's going to know where you're there. So you need to spend a shed load of money on marketing, and this is where I strongly suggest is you spend a decent or a lot of money on marketing, but there's no point spending a lot of money if you're not measuring it and you're not getting results. The key is to measure. If you're spending on marketing, if you're spending 100 grand and you're getting 200 grand back, it's absolutely worth doing. Okay, so happily spend lots of money, but you've got to measure, are you getting the return on it? There's no point spending money if you're not getting the return back. And one of the things that I've always seen is people open up the clinic, it looks wonderful, and then they think, okay, patients are going to come. No, they're not. Patients aren't going to come. Why the hell should they come to you? They've been going to their other dentist down the road for years. What's in it for them? Why should they come? So you have to really get the marketing going before you even open up the clinic. At least 6 months, even maybe more, getting the brand out there, people knowing that you're opening up a clinic, signage on the windows, people knowing everything. It's so important. I see people open up a clinic and then they open the door up and they expect patients to come in. Well, sorry, mate, no one's going to come. You haven't done this. You've got it wrong. And that's a really poor start to your business. And that's when it has a knock-on effect onto cash flow, onto paying staff, onto paying suppliers, because you're not getting enough patients in to treat. And that's when people start doing naughty things, trying to poach patients from ex-employers, all these types of things. And you're just going to go spiral down a horrible hole. So get your marketing right. Get started early. If you need any help on the website, online side of things, my team are probably the best out there. We don't do a lot of sites. We certainly don't want to do a lot of sites. We just do it right, okay? And we dominate the markets that we work in. So poor marketing. And I suppose this goes back to the last point to some extent. Number 7. Not paying for sound professional advice. Get the right advice from the right people. Now, when we started up our very first practice, I remember having we had this site in Wandsworth, and we had these. I met this guy Chris on a holiday in Morocco actually, and he was just starting out his design business, and he was talking about, oh, maybe I could do your design for your dental practice, and me being a cocky late 20s, early 30s type of thing. Oh, maybe I'm not so sure I should save some money, and I'm sure we can do it ourselves. Best decision I ever made was actually hiring that guy. He designed the practice. He made it look fantastic. And that was the starting point of a very successful brand in dentistry, by paying for sound professional advice. So now he was a designer, for example. So pay the right people to do the right jobs, whether it's a web marketing person, whether it's an accountant, whether it's a commercial finance broker, whether it's a lawyer. Pay for the right advice, okay? You do dentistry. And keep yourself busy doing dentistry by earning the bucks what you're doing there, and use that money to pay for the right people to help you achieve the goals that you want to achieve. Now, if you don't do that, you may make a success of it, but I'm pretty sure if you pay for the right advice, you'll get your result quicker, faster, and ultimately it will cost you a lot less money. So those are the 7 fatal mistakes I've seen people make by not doing these things or doing some of these things. And you really want to make sure that you don't, make these mistakes. I've seen too many practices just plod along and struggle along and really never make a success of it. And then they always get very kind of disenchanted with their business and want to sell out. And it's been a fruitless exercise, and they wasted 5-10 years of their life. So really think hard and plan for these mistakes, and plan for eliminating these mistakes rather. So in summary, should you do a startup or a squat? Personally, I think it's a great time. As I said, there's tax incentives. You can negotiate on rental terms really well. And it allows you to basically create create your inner flair, show your inner flair to come out by being your own practice. But you want to be different, okay? Don't try and fit in and be the same as everyone else. Don't be smile this, smile that. Kind of like no one's going to notice any difference. Be a different type of thing. Be a different beast, okay? But it's not for the faint-hearted. You need resilience, emotional intelligence, and really the ability to change as patient demand requirements change. If you're creative, you love to juggle lots of things, you've got to deal with team, got to deal with problems, deal with patients, deal with money, deal with marketing, deal with leaks, deal with insurance issues, deal with COVID, you name it. If you enjoy the challenges, then starting a squat is definitely for you. So how can we help here at Samera? So first thing, we have our annual boot camp, our first live annual boot camp. We're running for 2 days. Okay, it's a 2-day event on the 12th and 13th of November in central London. We only have 20 spaces. The price is $699, but if you book before the 30th of September, you save £200. I'll just go to this link actually. Let me see if I can share my page. So this is the event, setting up in practice. It's in Bloomsbury at the Holiday Inn. If you use the early bird 1 code, you'll save £200. So definitely come to that if you've got an inclination of setting up or even buying a practice. This is definitely for doing. As I said, we've been doing this donkey's year. You've got myself talking, you've got Smita talking, you've got Nigel talking, you've got my colleague Chris talking on marketing. If you're serious, you come to this. Okay, there's nothing better out there. I can guarantee it. Okay. So let me put that in the chat for you. So I've sent that in the chat. You can click on that and you can book away and use the early bird 1 code. Definitely do that. Then if I go back to my slides, one of the other things I mentioned was our buying group. And I'll go back to that on the website page as well. Now, this is the buying group. Again, it's on our website. It's all very accessible. It's totally free for existing accountancy clients and for all startups. And really, if you're buying equipment, you want to be buying it through us. Okay, you don't really want to be buying it through anyone else. You want to be buying it through us because you will save money. And again, our team, my colleagues Dan, Nigel, and others can then help you finance that. Again, probably at the best terms available in the market as well. So you really want to do that. As you can see, we're in partnership with DD, and we've got this growing buying group. My colleague Preet is growing this at a really good rate. We've got clients from all the way up in the northwest, all the way down to the south, and everywhere in between, to be quite honest with you. So it's quite exciting, and looking forward to obviously helping people save money. That's the basis of this buying group. We want you to save money and be part of something, rather than so that allows you then to compete with other groups out there. Why shouldn't you benefit from it? And that's what our premise of what we're trying to do is. Then what else have we got going on? Let me just remember. Then, of course, we've got the London Dentistry Show coming up on Friday and Saturday this week. So we will be there, my team, my colleagues Nigel, Dan, Jyoti, Chris, Gurpreet, and myself will be there on Friday and Saturday. We're at stand K32. You can certainly book a slot. If you're coming to the show, book a slot on our respective diaries. You can just click a bit on here, book a consult, and you can see in my diary, for instance, I've got London Dentistry Show. You can book something there. So I've already started to have people booking in. If you want to book an appointment with me or Nigel or Dan or Jyoti or Gurpreet, please feel free to do that. In addition, Jyoti will be talking on the Saturday, I think about 12:20, on how to start up a dental practice in 2021. So she'll be sharing some tips and ideas that we've got for you. And then really, come and say hello, come and grab a chocolate or two, a coffee, and we'll be delighted to talk to you and see if we can help you. We've got lots of freebies to give away. We've got a new book that I've written on Start, Scale, Sell, how to start, scale, sell a dental practice. It's totally free, but you need to come and grab it. And we've got some great offers available for you, as well as other lots of freebies as well. So please do come along. You can also book a virtual consult anytime with us, with any of the team. If you can't make the event, we'll be delighted to have a chat. Okay, we're always there. And really to keep the momentum alive, one thing that I know works, and lots of people have been commenting on it to me over the years, is our YouTube channel. We've got a lot of videos and people wanting on ideas on how to start up, marketing, financing, you name it. We pretty much cover all the areas. And that's kind of why I think we rank number one for buying, startup, everything. You know that on Google SEO search. So primarily because of our videos and primarily of our content, because we put a lot out there, and we've been doing that. Got the t-shirt, as I say, done it time and time again. So if you need any help, we are here. Contact details, everything's available. If you need any help, drop me an email, aaron@samera.co.uk. I'm always there to help. You can alternatively access everything via our website. There's a ton of information on there. I'm very proud of our website. We've got a great web team, a lot of great web content on there. And we'd be delighted to help you, whether you're starting up, looking to start up, or looking to buy, looking to raise finance, you name it. My team are 100% committed. Okay, thank you very much. I hope that's given you a good flavor of what the mistakes you need to avoid on. But if you need any help, get in touch. Thank you. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. I totally believe that's by Eleanor Roosevelt. And if you have a dream, you can make it happen, but you can't do it alone. So if you need any help, we are here. Thanks very much. Have a lovely evening. And if you're coming to the dentistry show, we'd love to see you there. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening in to the Dental Business Guide podcast. We welcome your feedback, and if you're enjoying it, please let your friends know too. Until the next time on the Dental Business Guide podcast.